Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell them. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. How to code, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
What's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles. We are here with Rachel Baribeau, a great lady. Man, has been blessed to achieve some really neat things in her life. Female, host, sportscaster, has done some really cool things. Founder of I Am Changing the Narrative. Just a great lady. I'm so thankful to have her on because she's making a huge difference in our world. So first off, thanks so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles.
Absolutely. Thank you for seeing something in me that you wanted to have me on. It's always an honor. And so when I'm asked to do a podcast, it's always an honor. So thank you very much.
Yes. Well, let's dive into it. Let's talk about your life story. And if you don't mind tracking your story until now.
Wow. How much time do we have? I'm seriously in the middle in the beginning process of writing a book, so there's a lot to it. But I will try to sum it up as succinctly as I can. But I was a sportscaster for many years, and I was telling you as we visited before the show started that I never set out to be the first in a lot of things. I never set out to be a trailblazer. I was literally trying to put food on my table and trying not to eat ramen noodles. And
every day, some days, but not every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
And so, but somehow by the grace of God, I did all these first. I was the first and only known female sportscaster to ever fully participate in a professional, semi-professional football training camp. Lasted 5 days, 3 hours of football in the morning, 3 hours of football at night. Was the first female host on SiriusXM on their college channels. I mean, still to this day, I have gals that message me and say, because of you, because of you, because of you. And that really touches me. And then in 2015, I was bestowed a Heisman vote and was the first host of the college football playoff from the very first year that it was created, which part of history, which is amazing. And then for 5 years since, and just retired from that. But I think the thing that I'm most proud of, Chip, is starting this worldwide movement called I'm Changing the Narrative. It's literally in this country swept from one coast to the other, from Oregon to Buffalo. I'm not kidding you. And all points in between: Clemson, Alabama, Auburn, Ohio State, Michigan, Texas A&M, it's Florida State. It's been nothing short of miraculous. And I believe with my movement that genesis and the basis of it is that there's a king or queen inside of every one of us. And for some of us, and you can probably relate to this as an educator, for some of us, we can't see the king or queen inside of us because of what I call funky junk. And that might be trauma from your mama. It might be shame. It might be guilt. It might be abuse. It might be anger. And you're carrying it like a yoke around your neck. And so because of that, you can't see who you are. You can't look in the mirror and be proud of the person that's staring back at you. In this movement, go in and talk to athletes across the country, kings and queens. We talk about everything from mental health to good love for yourself and for others, service. What were you put on this earth for besides being just an athlete? Because, baby, you were not born just to play football. That is not your purpose on this earth. That is a platform in which you can change the world, but it's not your purpose. And so So yeah, so it's been nothing short of amazing. Like I said, everything from being a king or a queen, service, mental health, dating, interpersonal relationships, self-worth. It's been nothing short of miraculous, and so much so, Chip, that I walked away from a 17-year sportscasting career to do it full time because I felt like God was telling me, I want all of you, I want you to pick up your cross, and I want you to do this full time.
You know, it's so many things. I tried to wait to let you finish. It was hard. Like I wanted to give you some sound effects, like ooh,
Yeah,
I
you
wanted
can
to
do
do
it.
some of that. Boom. I wanted to give you some of that, but then also, the things that you hit on as far as your purpose and everything, it's so needed. Just like you said, I don't care who you are, I don't care where you come from, like we all need guidance in those things, mental health, finding your purpose, giving service, knowing your self-worth, all of those things are continuous things that we have to strive to work on in our lives. And it's awesome how you talked about, your purpose. And I believe that, you talked about the big man too, and I'm a wholehearted believer in that. But I'm a believer that, when you're truly walking in your purpose, the big man lights up the path for you.
Woo! Takes you places that you could never, ever, ever imagine.
Oh, and I know from what you do, I see that you're living it, and same as for me. But like, if you just by taking that one step, like you said, just taking the leap, like it's crazy how I don't know, like I say, the path just seems to be lit,
Yeah.
like for real, it's lit,
I love it.
like for real, the path
Yeah.
is lit, and so
Yeah.
I think it's awesome what you do. It's good stuff.
You have joy. I don't know if anybody's ever told you this. You have joy coming out of your face. Like you
Mhm.
radiate joy, my friend. And that is my middle name. So I
Yeah.
obviously love the word. And little did my mama know, she went to be with Jesus last May. So it's coming up on a year. But little did she know or maybe she did know, but she and my uncle named me. I wasn't planned. I was out of wedlock. I was a surprise, but very loved and very wanted. And so I just, I'll say to anybody who's listening to this podcast today who thinks that they were an accident or unplanned or don't feel like they have worth in this world or have maybe old ideas that are in their gut and they're in their soul. You're here for a purpose.
Yeah.
King or queen. You're here for a purpose. But
Yeah.
I want to just give you the compliment and tell you that you have a joy radiating out of you, my friend. I see it all over you.
Thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. Just like I said, just like you're living. Like I truly believe that I'm living in my purpose, and I have a hashtag that I use it. Blessed to be a blessing.
Yes.
And I think when you can feel like that, and the things that you do, you get up every day and you're on fire.
Yes.
Right? Like you're on fire to go do your thing, and that's what it is for me, daily. Every day.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, what are 3 things you've accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
That's such a great question because I mentioned some of the professional accomplishments
Mm-hmm.
that I've had over the years. And, up until starting this movement, I would say those accomplishments were probably like the first ones you go to. And I think there's an underlying thing here, Chip, and here's the real deal. We so often in human interactions, we say, what do you do? What do you do? Right? Like,
Right.
what do you do with your life? And I like to say, tell me something that makes you happy recently. Like, tell me something good about your life. And so I just did it. I was naturally drawn to, I'm going to tell you, I was a Heisman voter and college football playoff and SiriusXM. But some of the things that I'm most proud of are being a life raft for over the years in Queens that were feeling suicidal, that felt like had questions of whether or not they should continue living. And I was a life raft and got them help and got them into therapy, and they're thriving today. That to me is one of the things I'm most proud of. the fact that my mom battled cancer for 10 months and I slowed down my life and made her my numero uno priority. And one of the things that I'm a heart of the matter girl, as you can tell. And for many years it was about, the X's and the O's, but it was also about the Jimmys and the Joes for me. But one of the things I like to tell people is there are some things that are really hard to deal with. And one of those is the emotion regret. Regret is such a powerful emotion. And so I choose not to live with regret. And one of the things that we teach in I'm Changing the Narrative is at the end of the day, and my shirt says purpose, passion, platform. But at the end of the day, I want you to be the kind of person that looks in the mirror and takes stock of your day from point A to point Z. And if there's something in there you need to fix, if there's something in there you need to say, if there's somebody in there you need to forgive, if there's something in there you need to make right, do it, right? Because as I said to Texas Tech football, I spoke to them last week. Do you think Kobe Bryant thought he was going to crash into a mountain? He didn't. Life is precious. And so I say that to say, I knew when my mama got sick that the one thing we were not going to have was regret. We were going to dance. We were going to laugh. We were going to take trips. We were going to say what needed to be said. We were going to live life to the very fullest. And so I would say being there for my mama and being second in line caregiver only to my stepdad, who's like my dad, that's something else I'm most proud of. And starting this movement. I say this with humility and all sorts of gratitude in my heart. But I created this thing and I've never quit and I've just kept going and I've kept pushing and I've kept pushing. And I'm the person, Chip, probably on the other end of the line. The coach is like, gosh, she's calling again, but I don't care if I annoy you. I don't care if I'm persistent. Because I had an old friend say to me at ESPN, an old mentor, he said, find the fine line between stalking somebody and being persistent and ride the heck out of it. Yeah. And so for me, I don't mind if I bug you. I don't mind if I push because somebody's life is at stake, right? Somebody's quality of life is at stake. Somebody's mental health is at stake. I no longer want to see young people or older people taking their lives. I want to talk about self-care. So yeah, I think taking care of my mama, being a buoy and a raft for people that are in trouble and starting this movement and just never quitting, Chip. There are so many times I have wanted to quit and I didn't. And here we are.
Well, one word in response to that you said, and that word is boom. Hey, boom. No, that's good stuff. The never quit, and it is. I think that's the passion. Similar passions. Really knowing that, like in our life, like we have the ability to make a positive difference in the life of someone every day.
Yes.
Like every moment of every day with what we do in our passion, it's possible to make that difference. And it's so cool that, I don't know, we're allowed the blessing to just be able to do that every day.
I love it. I'm telling you, I feel it in you too. You're a kindred spirit, my friend. You didn't come to me. We didn't find each other by accident. That's for sure.
No, without a doubt. No. Well, let's hit on success. I would think, looking at your life and your path and what you do to inspire and motivate, I would consider that huge success. What's your definition of success?
You ask really good questions, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, man. I've been holding on to this one lately. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's feeling fear and moving forward anyway in the face of fear. And so for me, any day where I've accomplished what I've set out for myself, I've shown myself grace, I've taken care of my mentals and, the mentals, but I've taken care of myself, but I have pushed forward and I've strived to do what I could do. And here's, I think this is really, really, really so pertinent for right now, what we're going through with all of us with this new normal with coronavirus. Do the best you can with what you can to the best of your ability and look for people to help and then rest. That's all you can do. So the best you can with what you can to the best of your ability and look for people to help. And then at the end of the day, rest.
Man, that is awesome. That's what it's all about.
That's success to me. And I'm sorry I rambled, but really it's moving forward in the face of fear, even when I'm scared, and it's helping other people. And it's I do these checks with myself. It's what we teach in I'm Changing. There's mirror checks at the end of the night. Rachel, do you need to apologize to that person? Rachel, did you keep your word? Rachel, were you on time? Rachel, did you give max effort? Rachel, and I look myself in the mirror and I check myself before I wreck myself.
That's classic right there. Some people may not know about that, but I know that. Come on and just no. No, I love it. I think we have to have that reflection for projection.
Yes.
Ooh. I think it's important that we do that. And, when you gave your definition of success, it really was, to me, it came across as a balance, if you will,
yes.
Integration, if you will,
yes,
because, it's a mix of, giving your all, connecting with people, helping others, but then also finding time to have that self love, if you will, or self-improvement, because really you can't pour out of an empty cup. That's where it starts.
You know how so many of us get into trouble with poor mental health? We don't take care of ourselves. I say this all the time to athletes across the country and just people, because this movement is really bigger than just athletics. I'm visiting with Border Patrol for the second time, hopefully at the end of April or very soon. It's a message if you're 6 to 96. But for some of us, we literally get out of the bed in the morning and we talk to ourselves in such a way that we would never speak it to anybody else, but we speak it to ourselves.
Yeah.
And we got to stop that. I get out of my bed, and it's depending on what day, but it's first thing I do for me is I read scripture. I'm part of a group where we read scripture in the morning. I do that. That's my first thing I do. Instead of going to socials and I've done that in the past. That's what I'm given to in the world, my flesh. But I go, okay, I'm going to read my scripture. I'm going to make this first. And then I start talking to myself. What a great day it's going to be. How thankful I am. I make my bed. That's the thing that makes me happy. I make my bed. It makes me feel grounded. Makes things feel in order. So yeah, I think for so many people, they don't have the balance. And I didn't have the balance. And I also isolated at one point in my life after I lost my mom and I had a lot going on. And it led to a night where I almost took my own life. I had isolated from everybody and let them think I was okay via text. And I was struggling really badly. And it's interesting because what the devil meant to kill me actually gave me a blueprint to be able to save people's lives. And so I'm actually thankful that I walked through what I walked through, because let me tell you something, my friend, I got buckets of water for people that are still burning, and I'm going back in the fire to get them.
Isn't it crazy how your lowest points in your life will allow you to come out and be the moments that help you shine and help you share light for others because you've gone through that?
Yes. Even if you're not a believer, I'm quoting scripture, but if you're not, Romans 8:28, he uses all things for the glory, all things for the good, the bad, the happy, the sad. He's with you at all times. And even again, if you don't believe, you want to use it a more just plain term, use your pain for purpose. I teach this and I'm changing the narrative. Use your pain for purpose. What was meant to kill you actually will help you change and affect other people's lives if you're brave enough to take off the mask and talk about it.
And then it'll ignite your passion.
Ooh, yes.
Pain,
yes.
Purpose, passion.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, before we get off, if you don't mind sharing with the audience where they can go follow you and check you out and show you some love with your amazing movement.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, friend. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
They can go to the website here. It's I am changing the narrative.org. I am changing the narrative.org. I really believe in this idea that social media is the social part of it. So what do I mean by that? I mean, I like to converse with people. I've made friends with people straight up of social media that are my prayer partners, that are my friends, that have come alongside me in this movement, and I've never met them. I've never actually laid my eyeballs on them in person. I love social media for that. I use it for positive, to make people laugh, to inspire people. I'm not getting them to fear. I'm not posting all this stuff right now. Be mindful, man. If you got to step back, let me just leave your audience with this. You got to step back at a time like this because you know it's affecting you. Take a step back. Take Facebook off your phone. Stop going to the whatever site it is that inflames you, that makes you fearful. Faith over fear. Faith in the future. Faith over fear, right? So you got to take care of your headspace here. I'm real big on taking care of my headspace. Self-care, grounding. My friend, Dr. Josh Claypo, a clinical psychologist, I had him on my show recently, and he talked about that. Right now, if you needed to take every hour and ground yourself, remind yourself who you are, remind yourself what you've come through, remind yourself what you're made of, remind yourself that no matter what, you're going to be okay. And then I think the other thing, the point of that is, right now especially, and we talk about it all the time in this movement, but you got to ask for help. Can't be too proud to ask for help. Don't suffer in silence, dude. Don't, when you start asking for help, and I had recently a player tell me, his dad's been in and out of jail and not really in his life, and changes his phone number all the time. And because he was willing to share that with me, I then connected him to a male mentor that I have in my program that has been dying to pour into a young man, dying to lift him up. And so I connected to them. They've already talked, but that never would have happened if the player hadn't have been bold enough to take off the mask and tell the need and say, I have been floating out here. I have been kind of, drowning out here, and I need a man to look to or a mentor to look to. So I say all that to say, man, you got to ask for help. Whether it is you need a hot meal and your neighbor will provide it, go to your church. We'll figure this out together. We'll get through this thing together. So I want to be your friend, want to get to know you. I'm changing the narrative. And then my socials, you can find me through Rachel Baribeau. It's very easy. Instagram, Twitter. I do a Facebook show, and I'll have to get you on sometime every Sunday at 4 o'clock. Called Sunday Soul. And we just reset for the week. We get you good for the week ahead.
You see that pen there?
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah. I love you already.
No, I just hearing you talk about that story about the young man and taking the mask off, it's nothing better than and hearing you talk about your story, it's nothing better than being in a place to help someone that's in a position that you've been in.
Yeah.
Man, like just hearing the opportunity for that guy to be a mentor for the other guy, that he can tell him, hey man, like I'm on the other side of that. Like if I can get through it, you can too. Trust me. But I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna help you get through it.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
And I say this a lot in my talks and in my visits. I've done a lot of really cool things in my life, but to me, and I want to ask you this, to me, there's nothing better. There's no more salve for the soul. You could put $1 million in my bank and it doesn't feel as good as the way that I feel when I connected those two to mentor, and I know what's going to happen, right? When I stand in front of an audience or a person and they trust me enough to tell me their life. Does that do the same thing for you? Like walking in your purpose, that's my currency. It's my currency.
Yeah, I mean, just to hear you tell the story about that, like, made me feel good because, like, it's nothing. Like I said, it's nothing better than to, like we all have been broken, right? Like we all have been in situations that we are like completely felt like broken. Like, like I've been in a situation where I'm like, I feel like Humpty Dumpty, right? Like all the king's horses, all the king men couldn't put Chip Baker back together again, right? So, but then when someone comes along and gives you a hand and helps you get through that, like you are forever feel indebted to them because they truly saved you, and there's a lot of people in my life that have done that for me and my family, and really that's why I started the Success Chronicles, because I wanted to highlight those people. And I'm gonna just say a couple of names, Miss Reverend and Miss Gentry, my pastor, at my church, like they gave us a ride to when we didn't have a car, like they gave us a ride to school and helped my mother. And I mean, it's just the list goes on and on of people that just like, even when you feel, when you feel like not even deserving of it, they just go above and beyond to help you.
Yeah.
And that's why I do what I do, because I don't want any kid that I'm around, I don't want any person that I am blessed to be around to inspire and motivate to ever feel that pain. The pain, right?
Yeah.
The broken. And that's why I do what I do. Yeah. And I want to hit you with this too. See, now you got me going.
I had a feeling.
Let's go. There's a thing called Kinsecure, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Okay.
I saw this, one of my former players, he cuts hair. His mother had this on her refrigerator at their house when I saw this, and man, it's perfect for what we're talking about. And what it is, it's the ritual of like when pottery, like when it has a crack or something.
Yes.
What they do is they lace it with like gold or silver, so that after it's done and they repair it with the gold or silver, the pot is better or worth more than what it was even before it was broken. And that's how it is in our life. We just have to embrace those broken moments and grow through our go through, because when we get on the other side, we're going to be so much better. And that's where we are, you and I, in our lives, because we're able to help so many people because we've been broken before.
You know what, to your point, and I've been sent that before, and I absolutely love it. To your point, I wouldn't take back any of my broken.
No.
None of it. It's hard, and I made amends to people that I hurt. I have made amends, obviously, with God, but I wouldn't take any of it back, because it's given me a story. Yeah. And it's allowed me to stand in front of people and say, I've been where you've been. I've walked where you've walked. I've had holes the size of Texas inside my heart, and I was trying to fill them with things of the world. And it was, and I was so broken. I did not love myself. Therefore, I could never expect anybody to love me. It was never going to fill those holes. And I couldn't love someone else because I didn't know what good love was until I started to love myself. So I wouldn't take any of it back, my friend. None of it.
Man, no doubt. Well, again, I want to say thanks so much for this fire session. But it's a good time we had. I truly appreciate your time. Truly appreciate what you do, how you do. And I wish you continued success.
Thank you, my friend.
All right. Well, thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time. God bless. Go get it.